Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Battlefield fans of the universe. Thank you so much for stopping by for here another episode with the Shots Fired podcast crew. Joining me this evening is my co-host, Mr. Double D's TheRealDumDum, representing the Long Range Recon Patrol. And tonight, guys, oh my days, we have such a special guest lined up for you. I am so very excited to make the acquaintance of this gentleman. It's honestly, I cannot put into words quite how excited I am right now. I'm going to have to tone it down a little bit. But this guy, Mr. Jeff Braddock, welcome to the stream, my dude. Thank you so much. How are you?
Man, thanks. I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on. It's exciting.
Yep, like we say, we're glad to get you on board, dude. We appreciate you. You've been a busy guy recently. You've had a lot going on. And, so for you to be able to give us this time, and it's quite early, I believe it's Pacific Coast for you at the moment. Is that correct?
Yep, it is 8:03 a.m. in the Pacific here in Los Angeles. A weird flex or a hot take or what all the young kids are saying on the internet today. But no, I have sleeping issues. Like it's weird. I don't sleep a lot, but when I sleep, I sleep really hard. Like I fully on dream for 3 hours, but I also hear everything that's going around me. So like I get my REM sleep. I don't get a ton of sleep, and I wake up at the drop of a hat. Like the other day, not to dive too deep into it, but the other day my dog was we have pee pads down, because I don't want to get up at 2 a.m. to take him for a walk. It's like, yeah, go to the bathroom. It's fine. I'll clean up. But I heard him literally. I felt him get off the bed, and I was still in dream, and I felt this. It was kind of like the movie Inception. It was almost like a kick. And then I'm not even joking. And then I heard like this tiny little scratch on the pee pad, and I just jumped right up. And I didn't like jump up groggily and stuff like that. I literally jump up, and I was like, hey, Kumo, what's up? Do you need to go out? And I'm like fully awake. So like I go from 100 miles an hour to 0 for 4 hours, and then right back to 100 miles an hour. It drives my wife nuts, especially when we go on vacations and stuff. Because first off, I don't take a ton of vacations. I'll take some PTO, but like if I go on a trip, I want to enjoy every single moment of the trip, and sleeping is a waste of time. And so like I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm like, all right, I get my shower done and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to take her 48 minutes. I mean, I'm just kidding. 3 hours to get ready. And all we're doing is literally going to the beach, but whatever, not going to judge. And then I'll wake her up at like 6:30. What are you doing? We're on vacation. And I'm like, you're wasting my vacation. Let's go do things.
Jesus, you're an animal.
That.
I mean,
that's the way to do it, though. Boy, I'll tell you what.
It sounds almost
activities.
It sounds almost like you've got like terrible superpowers.
Yeah,
really bad superpowers. You got stuffed with the really bad superpowers. That's for sure.
I'll be honest.
Stay awake on you all damn day and night.
I will be honest. I love that. King of the Hills. Being from Texas, King of the Hill is one of my favorites.
Nice.
But I actually do have two superpowers. It's the lack of sleep without going completely insane, and I heal really fast. Like you guys know I had my motorcycle accident, right?
Yeah. How was it? How's that whole healing process going?
Within 2 days, the road rash, which is went through 2 layers of epidermis, was healed. It's scarred up now, and it's already tanning. And it's only been 3 weeks since it happened. The only issue, and this is probably residual issues from my youth, and the indiscretions of my youth. My ankle occasionally still has some issues, but I mean, I used to skateboard and bicycle and climb rocks and climb trees and do stupid stuff like jump out of a moving car onto a rope swing, like Texas, man. I grew up in the sticks, so we did dumb stuff, but I would jump out of the bed of a truck onto a rope swing and then swing around and then just latch onto a tree 20 feet up and then fall and stuff. And so when I hit, my hip's fine, the bruises are gone and all that stuff. The only thing that's still kind of left is the ankle. But my wife has seen this in action. We've been together since dating. We started dating 13 years ago, and then we've been married for 4 years. Long courtships, they're fun, especially if the parents hate you for a while. It's I'm putting in my time. I'm gonna earn it.
Well, they're going to play Battlefield.
But no, she saw me like I was making dinner one night. She had come over to my apartment and I was making dinner and I really sliced up my finger because I wasn't paying attention because I was like we were talking and I had a glass of whiskey and it wasn't because I was drunk because I had just had a sip, my first sip of the evening. But I was talking and I'm engaged and when I talk with my hands and you guys can already tell I'm very energetic and so like I don't pay attention sometimes and I went foop. Oh, that's the end of my thumb. It's gone.
Oh
Like it
god.
literally was flat. And like honestly, I probably could have used stitches, but I didn't. I just because I grew up watching MacGyver. I put some super
Yeah,
glue
you
on the
figure
end.
it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
you figure it out. Put some
Oh.
super glue on the end, and 2 days later, the skin had already started growing back. By a week from when and it cut off like a chunk, right? A week later, it was like it never happened. It's just I heal really weird. I don't get sick. I call it my Wolverine Deadpool genes.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty
since
sweet.
I'm like the love child of that, because I'm short. Wolverine's not a tall dude. Sorry, Hugh Jackman. He's not 6'1". I love you, bro, but he's not. Um, and
Wounded.
yeah, but I'm like Pulverine because I'm kind of an ass, but I also heal really fast.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting though because I had a very very similar childhood, just full of bumps and bruises and things of that sort. And I noticed back then I seemed to kind of heal up pretty quickly. Nowadays, it's the exact opposite. I had a motorcycle wreck in I think it was 2012 or 13 or something like that. And I got my foot torn up pretty bad. Not as
Ooh.
badly as what yours was, and it took months. It took me months to heal. So I kind of envy you, my dude.
So everyone in this podcast has crashed a
Get
motorbike at
old,
one
dude. That's
point
pretty
in their
badass.
life. Mm.
Everyone who has a motorbike is gonna crash it at least once.
Right?
I
It's
mean, we
inevitable.
know that's the law of the universe for motorcycle riders. There's two
Lost
types. There's
everybody.
people that have crashed or people that will
Lost all
crash.
my audio.
No, absolutely. I mean, my occasion is slightly less glamorous than you guys, and unfortunately, mine happened within like a week of me doing my motorcycle license. But I managed to go into the back of my dad, who was also on his motorbike, and thankfully not at high speed. But yeah, definitely learned a lesson from that about leaving enough space and situational awareness. But once you do learn that lesson, you don't tend to make the same mistake again.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll sometimes when I'm going to work, in California, you can split lanes, and I have no problem doing that. Literally, it's the only way I would get around in LA because traffic is horrendous. 13.9 or 16 million, I don't know. There's a crap load of people here, and they all own a car. Like even the children, even the 5-year-olds, they're in the cars driving with their juice box, or that's what you think because of the way they drive.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'll split the lanes. But occasionally I'll get like a dude on a big body bike or a guy on one of those little street bikes. And I'm not hating on those. They go really fast. It's just not my flavor. I don't want to lay down on top of a bomb. Like I
It's
dig I
true.
dig the street bike, but you're literally hugging the most explosive, most burny part of the motorcycle. It's like I'd like to sit back a little bit, like and jump off if necessary. This I have to
Yeah.
hold on. So but occasionally they'll like crowd me, and I'm like, and I'll just pull over and let him go because like my stepdad when I was growing up, he had one of the best maxims for life. Like we were going to the beach one day in his CJ, his Jeep. It was like a 75, 78 Jeep. And we had all the doors and windows and everything off, so it was just the roll bar and stuff. And I'm like 6, maybe 5, and we were running a little late because we were meeting some friends over there. I was like, we're running late. He goes, well, we should have left early. He's like, if you're running late, you should just leave earlier. He's like, don't rush yourself ever, because when you rush, you make mistakes, and you're jeopardizing not just yourself but others. And I was like, it's kind of an interesting thing. Now, as an adult, I kind of, we always turn into our folks, but I kind of look at that in that same sort of lens, and it drives my wife nuts because she would be late to her own funeral like by a week. I love her so much, but like I'm like, come on, let's go. The movie starts in an hour and a half. And she's like, but it's an hour and a half and we live 10 minutes from the theater, Jeffrey. And I'm like, yeah, but you're still in a robe and you're going to wash your hair. And also, I don't trust you. I'm just going to be honest.
I love the level of
So-
honesty. But isn't that what all relationships are built on? Honesty.
Okay, good ones. Good ones are a good mix of brutal and absolute honesty and damn good lies. Like that's a good relationship because like there's a certain, and it's always about a time and place. You know, you don't want to be completely honest if your significant other, because I cook a lot, so I'm not going to say my wife. Like my wife cooks a lot, I cook a lot, so it's shared. But if your significant other makes a pile of crap for dinner, that's not the time to be honest because they're still in the kitchen with the knives. So that's when you're like,
That's a good point.
if you got some ketchup and maybe some salt and pepper and maybe a whole different plate, I mean, I love what you're doing here, but
Boy, I tell you
Nah,
what,
it's-
Peg Leg, you done something to this son of a gun right here. We're gonna have to fix this. That might get you beat. You might get hurt.
I was going to say
On your
this.
way out
I
of the
mean,
kitchen.
this level of honesty probably doesn't always, lead to a non-violent resolution. And I would imagine the occasional rolling pin or something hard and heavy has been thrown at your head. Again, it's about, I suppose, being able to duck and having that ability to just get on out of there.
well,
You,
my wife is
you guys
my
want
wife
to
is
hear a
tiny.
funny story?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear it.
Okay, it actually involves a no joke where there's rolling. You just call it rolling pin. I think we call it egg beater. You know, the big wooden thing, 2 handles on the end, you roll out bread with. Well, it was in Temecula, California in 2006. My buddy Speedy and I, he's my absolute best friend. He's like I said, my brother. We were hanging out in the backyard of his parents' lovely home, and we were quite inebriated. This was on a Sunday. We had been drinking all weekend. We were young bucks, and that was the thing to do, you know? And Speedy found his archery kit from the days of his childhood, and he busted that dirty old son of a gun out. And we took to shooting it in the backyard, you know. And they had this beautiful manicured backyard. They had this hill in the back. It kind of went up to a privacy fence about 10 feet above the rest of the backyard. It was all gardened over, just gorgeous. So we figured we should set up some coffee cans full of gasoline and just start popping arrows at those from about 20 feet away. And we were in the Marine Corps, so we should be able to hit it, is what we were thinking. Like we can shoot, but we were really, 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 really drunk. And so we missed a lot. And there were all these flaming arrows sticking out of the dirt all over the back of that hill. And Speedy's dad sees this from the back kitchen window or something. And he comes stumbling out because he's been sipping on his wine and he's a little drunk too. And he's kind of yelling at us, but kind of laughing at us and, oh, you silly guys, haha, that kind of thing. And then he just drop kicks one of the buckets of gasoline directly onto the hill, which ignited the entire backyard. It was a massive tree.
America.
It caught Stefan's leg on fire. That Speedy's dad caught his leg on fire. So my drunk ass is literally tackling him and screaming about a hose. And Speedy's running for the garden hose and spraying his dad down. And I'll never forget, I looked up and in that back window, I see Speedy's mother. And she's pissed. She is so upset. The look on that Jewish woman, because she is Jewish, and it was important then because there was a special kind of rage coming out of that window. I stopped everything I was doing. I let his leg burn. I grabbed a Budweiser and I ran and I jumped up onto the back pergola of their porch and I climbed on that and I went and sat on the roof. And what I witnessed come out of that back patio door, boy, oh my God. She come out there with an actual egg beater and beat the holy hell out of Speedy and Stefan without relent. And I sat there jaw dropped, loving it. So that's what I think of when you say egg beaters and things of that sort. Tings of that
Oh my
sort.
Lord.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, I just don't know how to quite process that right now. I don't even know
I haven't
which
yet.
specific
It's been-
detail to draw in first, but an egg
Yeah, it's been
beater.
like 13 years, and I still haven't processed.
I've just got this image now of this woman running out like proper ninja style, just like throwing this egg beater, hitting Speedy square in the forehead, like knocking him down to the ground, like picking up the egg beater before it's even dropped to the ground, and then doing some serious like convu, crazy fighting just between like.
Speedy was on his knees with his back to her, didn't know she was out there, and he was trying to help his dad, and she cracked him right across the small of his back and just dropped him. just dropped him. I was like, holy freaking crap, bro. Like, that's rough. Yeah, she drove us back to base not but 2 hours after that whole ordeal. That was an interesting car ride, I can tell you that.
Oh my god, I bet you went on deployment just to get away from her, like, just to be safe.
I would have. I've been like, boy, you can send me to goddamn North Korea by myself. I don't care. It ain't safe here.
I was literally thinking that. I was like, can we deploy now? Because it'd be safer over there than with Speedy's mom.
Oh man, that poor woman. She's been put through some stuff. I love her. She's incredible. She's seen some things.
So, I mean, just to tie it back in with Battlefield a little bit, have you guys had much opportunity to play Outpost?
Yeah, dude, I love it.
Oh, isn't it sexy?
That mode.
You like so many squad requisition points. So many.
Oh, my favorite thing to do, and it annoys the folk, is when you get on Mercury. There's that Pack 40, and when you're on David, right? The D point. And you've built up the tower, so you've got your propaganda going off, blah blah blah, and then you look over and you see the folks across that giant ravine, which is literally, I personally call that Death Valley, because if you're walking in there, you're done, because you have shooters at the top on both sides, right?
Oh, it's genocide.
But it's fun. It's fun if you can make it through. But I'll look over and I'll watch the Bravo tower start getting built, and I'm like, oh, you're at 90%. Bloom, 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 and I just start shooting. They're timing it so bad. And yeah, it's because like I try to like, I wish we all have like little pet peeves sometimes with our squads and whatever. But one of them is, I wish the squad leader would literally do their job. Like all they got to do is put defend this point so we can earn points until we capture a point. And then tell us to capture a point, and then call in your reinforcements. That's all you got to do, and not die, so we can spawn on him. And so I'll take it, and I'm like, and attack me, bloom bloom bloom, you're done, and then I'll wait, because they're dumb enough to start building again, and I'm like, this is happening to you twice now, and so the third time I usually have enough for an aerial strike, the bombardment, and then I'm like, and my binoculars. And goodbye. And so they just abandoned me. They're like, nope, you know what? That's just not a good place for us. Let's go elsewhere. And then, hopefully, I don't know. I love that it's got a lot of objectives, as like a lot of things to do. It really reinforces the whole fortifications thing, because I mean, my only issue is I personally, and this is just how I feel. I personally would like to get rid of vehicles on.
Right,
like
so you
vehicles.
envisage like a complete infantry-only sort of stylized game mode. Now, I could actually see that, and I agree. I definitely, I do enjoy the mechanized infantry variation, but like you say, infantry alone definitely provide, just gives you this unique opportunity to just go full on out and just go crazy, and everyone is concentrated on that. So yeah, I could definitely see that. I believe we've got some infantry concentrated maps coming out a little bit later on as part of Chapter 5 or the end of Chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, but we were going to touch on that a bit later. But no, I think absolutely, my dude. It really encompasses that PTFO mentality and just the hallmarks of what made Battlefield great to begin with, that teamwork and having to really put it all together as one unit. It really encompasses that, and any game mode that takes that teamwork to the next level is definitely welcome in my books, and I think a lot of the people out there do enjoy it. think there has been some talk of perhaps like the defensive element is, it does seem to be a very fluid sort of game mode. There doesn't seem to be much sticking around, and I can't really put my finger on why that is, other, relative to like game modes like Conquest, where you do have the opportunity to really sit down and defend, because it's still a large player game count. There's still large parts of the map that are open and available, and you've obviously got the increased emphasis on getting the flags built up. But even with all of that, people still seem to prefer, going on the offensive. That's been in my experience.
It sometimes, like, depending on the players on each team, sometimes it can really turn into a ring around the rosy, right? Like you take B, they take A, you go take A, they take C, you go take C. You just keep going, running around circles the map, and then you've got snipers on both teams, just making everyone just really angry with their boys' AT rifles. Oh my gosh, I hate that rifle so much. I mean, I understand it, and I love the fact that it's in the game, but I hate getting killed by that because it's so good. It's such a good rifle, and like there's so many people that are just really good at sniping. I don't have the patience for sniping. My classes in order are support, followed immediately, like not even a half step behind, medic. I love being Super Jesus on the battlefield. Like because I take a shot, I heal myself, and then I go over and come back to life, and throw in medic packs and stuff like that. And then assault. I'm not a huge fan of walking up as a meat shield against a tank. It's just not my flavor. Even if I've got a Panzerfaust and the Piat or whatever, I'm like, no. Let me get in a big boy tank. And then recon. And recon, I don't play recon like a lot of people. Like a lot of people that I see play recon, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but I play recon very aggressively. Like I prefer the PO8.
Yeah.
Mainly because one, I can get long distance, not super long distance, right? I'm not shooting across the map, but I can get really good at close engagements because it's got that fast rate of fire. And then I usually use the flare gun and the spawn beacon because bring my boys with me and let's see where the other team is. So that's the way I play recon, which it's frustrating for me as someone who's not very great with patience. To sit there and like, all right, now hold shift and hold your breath. And I got shot in the face. All right, let's respawn back. Let's respawn back at the uncap because my entire squad just got wiped, and we've lost all capture points. Let's try this again. So I'm just like, nope. Let's go full crazy, and that's when I bring out the support and the frag rifle and. Just go banana sandwich crazy, man. And
so you're
I don't know.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I'm boots on the ground, man. Like I love playing in the helicopters, like in Battlefield 3 and 4, and then the planes, the biplanes, and the Ilya Marets in BF1, the choppers in BF Hardline, and I love the beauty and the way the planes feel. And keep in mind, I'm a novice pilot, so I'm probably wrong on that, which is why also I'm not a dev just making design decisions. I just take the feedback from the advanced pilots to the devs. But I just love the way the Spitfire and the planes feel. They just feel good. Bombers, I'm like, and we did do some recent tweaks to the bombers because they can almost outfly a Spitfire, and that should never in any stretch of the imagination happen. Like, I'm not saying they should be sitting ducks. They should have more armor for sure.
Exactly.
Because they're carrying all the bombs. But they shouldn't be able to turn on a dime like a Spitfire and outgun them. Like that's just that's actually accurate. You're not supposed to do that.
No.
Which is what. Go ahead.
Sorry, no. I was just gonna add on there. I had seen a post recently, and with you mentioning about sort of the airplane aspect of the game. Like, someone came out with this really cool concept of this like almost Battle of Britain style air superiority game mode. Now, I appreciate you can't discuss anything that hasn't already been sort of publicized. This is purely me salivating over the prospect. Now, looking at previous Battlefield editions, we have seen a dedicated air superiority game mode, and just to put that sort of seed in the ground a little bit, it would be awesome. Bearing in mind with some of the air campaigns that were held during World War II, to definitely have that game mode. Did you used to play air superiority a lot on Battlefield 1?
Not so much on Battlefield 1. I did enjoy the heck out of it. I mean, I tried, and I was terrible. Which is, I still have fun. But I did play air superiority in, what was it, Battlefield 4 with the jets, and that was it 4 or 3? I know we had it before 1, but that I think it was 4. But and I enjoyed it then. Especially like the F-35, the hover jet, because I could just be like, and what was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? True Lies. I could True Lies them. Just sit there, just turn around like a floating turret. It's like, this is cheap, but I love it. Where's my Jamie Lee Curtis? Don't fall out.
Oh God, you got fully immersed, didn't you?
My middle name should be Tangent, because I go off on them constantly. It drives my wife nuts when we have conversations, because I'll be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I'll mention one word, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that doctor from Scrubs? He was also like, he looks like Dax Shepard. And Dax Shepard is married to, what's her face from The Good Place. And I remember when Danson was in Cheers, and she's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, and then, but I always remember the starting point. I'm like, well, because we're watching Good Omens. And she's like, your train of thought has gone off the rails. I was like, yeah, because like in Back to the Future 3, where we're going, we don't need rails. And she's like, what?
Where is this coming from?
35 years of television and movies and random media trivia just constantly just like percolating in my brain. That's about it. It's a cartoon up in here, and I love it.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You've just thrown me there now. I'm just trying to process it. Like, what? We've just covered so many different topics. My brain is bleeding through my ears.
This is why I don't get invited to podcasts often. I covered too many things.
I've got a question for you, dude. I've been kind of curious about this myself. If you're okay with getting a little serious, so obviously you like gaming and all that. We all here enjoy sitting down playing a game and all that entails. And I want to work in the gaming industry. Pike wants to work in the gaming industry. You do work in the gaming industry. How does it translate being a gamer and then now you manage one of the largest gaming communities out there? Does that take away from gaming at all? Does that make it like, too much to where you don't feel like doing it? Or is it just all gravy and kind of blends together and is the dream job kind of thing that people imagine?
So like, I have a really great answer for this, and there's tangents I'm gonna go on. So buckle in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, but I promise you'll get home safely. Okay, so I worked in restaurants and bars for 13 years. And the thing about working in a restaurant, especially if you work there longer than 6 months or a year, you know the menu, you know how everything's cooked, you know how everything tastes, and you get bored with the food. And so you start coming up with your own recipe. Start talking to the cooks and the chefs in the kitchen, and you're like, hey, man, I want you to do this, but I want you to try it with this and this and this and this. And you can a la carte. When you work in a restaurant, I work in a place in Austin called Trudy's, and you can a la carte basically anything that's the main menu for the public, but you could a la carte it. And so I'd start doing crazy, weird combos. Now, to tie that into the gaming, when I was 4 years old, I saw the movie Tron, and I wanted to work in the industry. I wanted to be Jeff Bridges, a.k.a. Flynn. And then I got older and realized I don't know how to code. So I went to school for coding, and then I realized I hate math. And so I changed my degree plan into writing in English, and then I just kind of stopped because I started bartending, and I was like making great money. 19 years old, making because I was working in a fun bar, and I was making more step down. each week. And so I'm like, you know what? I mean, he was a salt of the earth dude, worked in construction and worked in chemical plants and stuff like that. But I also like I didn't have anything else to do, so I pick up double, triple shifts, and I just work a lot. And by the way, I do love being active, figuring things out and solving things. That whether it's solving someone's sobriety by giving them, solving someone hunger by giving them, solving someone in-game issue by resolving it or escalating, whatever it is. So with being someone who's gaming since, gracious, 5 when I picked up my first controller. This is 36 years. Being someone who's been gaming for 36 years, who mowed lawns for an entire summer to get the original when it came out, who had the original PlayStation, who had the Sega Game Gear with the TV adapter, because, you know, why not? That's 119. That was $119 antenna. Good God.
Well spent.
Absolutely. But someone who loves gaming, not just playing the game, appreciating the beauty of games. Like my wife and I dating, we started playing this game called Heroes, and it's so weird hearing how many people know about that game, and the fact that it's now defunct and it's been dead for years. But it was a superhero MMO, the best one that has ever been, because you could create your own heroes. You didn't have to be like, I like Batman, but I can't be Batman, or I'm kind of like Superman. I literally, my character is American. He was red, white, and blue. He looked like a cross between and Captain America, and his powers were strength and invulnerability. He was the Ultra Tank, and we would farm different tunes for folks, run speed runs, and we had a fun guild, and it was just a great time. But they did this upgrade called Ultra, and like this game had been running by Paragon Studios and Nexon years, and they, PC started getting much better. Like this was like 2011 when like the crazy video games really started. 2000, and they did this Ultra upgrade, and like it would be like playing WoW today, and then all of a sudden they just introduced ray tracing. Like for everybody, like that was the difference. It was just like, oh! And so there's this one place in the game called Steel Canyon, and my character couldn't, like, why don't I just put a cape on and just call it a day? So my character had super jump, and so like he could jump, like, and I had him maxed out and specced out, and I had his enhancements up and everything, so he could literally jump from one end of a map of a zone to the other, like one jump. And so I jumped to the top of the tallest building in this game, and it was in Steel Canyon. And I watched cars go, seas walk, and they're on algorithm. But I sat there for a minute, and we were supposed to be going in and do a raid, and my girlfriend / wife, she was like, hey, come on, let's go. And I'm like, dude, have you? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, have you just looked at how cool? I was like, at the simplest form, these are ones they have given us to form a picture we can interact, play with. And so, and like, sorry, I just get because that's how I look at this. At the end of the day, no matter what game it is, you have to appreciate the passion, the dedication, the love that these artists, and that's what they are, man. Whether you're a code programmer, they're a freaking digital artist. These artists have given us their toys to play with, and the fidelity keeps going up and up and up and up, and it's insane. So, TLDR, it's a little weird. It's a little weird being a gamer that works in the gaming industry, because every day I appreciate all these other games, and I play a lot of Battlefield, play a lot of other. It is a dream job. I started off with EA answering telephone for EA, and I just wanted to get my foot in the door. Like so many that want to get in the industry, they'll do whatever. I'll sweep up. I just want to get in the building, and so I got my foot in the door, and then I just kept wanting to learn more things and experience more things and make relationships. And I hate that word. It sounds so cool. That's literally what you're doing. You're expanding your social and personal network by meeting and engaging with. But I wanted to learn from everybody. Like when I had a question and that my specific department didn't handle, I would find out who did, and then I'd ask them, and I'd ask them to teach me. Like and so I'm averse about knowledge. I want to learn everything.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the biggest drawback about working in the game industry, especially on one of the games that I love so much, is there are zero surprises. Like I know Chapter 5. I knew Battlefield 5 a year and a half before it came out. I knew what it was going to be. I like there's spoiler alerts all day long, and it's just to the point that I don't even care about movies. Like I haven't even seen Endgame. I already know everyone who dies and everyone who comes back, and I just because. But I mean, I also understand these people have been making 22 movies over 10 years. Some of them just want to go do other things, you know. But it's really cool. And then you ask the other question: does it impact my passion? On hard days, yeah. But not in a bad way. On hard days, but I look at it more less of impacting my ability or passion to game as impacting my passion to be on digital things. Like you gotta disconnect, and those are the hard days. Like we have let's say we have an issue or there's something going on. Like I've been up since 5. I've been working since 7 my time. It's now 7. I go offline. I'll just sit and veg out on some cartoons, or grossly binge watch Grey's Anatomy. God, she loved that show. I'm like, dude, it's a soap opera, and some of the characters are terrible, but they don't kill them off like George R.R. Martin would. Like, can we please get rid of some of these? Like, George R.R. Martin changed the game, man. Like when you see a show now, and you see someone who's just an ass, you're like, you know what? The dragon's gonna eat your face, and then they're like there for. You're like, you know what? Damn.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I never ever want to. I never want to. And it's all. And the thing is to not pigeonhole yourself. And this is something that talking with streamers, creators. They have I think it was 2 years ago. I was talking to this chap, and he was real frustrated because he was like, man, I just want to take a break from Battlefield. Not that I don't love it, but I just want to take a break. He's like, but my channel is a Battlefield channel. He's like, but I'll lose subs. I'll lose this. And I'm like, what do you want to do? What makes you happy? I was like, you don't do something that's not making you. I was like, and this is, today I would say Marie Kondo that shit. If it doesn't bring you spark, if it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it for now.
That's right,
and
though. That's right, though.
You got like life is short and it's hard enough. And it's so weird talking about life is hard about video games. But these are our luxury entertainment distractions from the outside world and help us in whatever way they help for each individual to enjoy this time. So if it turns into which is weird from someone who works on that. Anyways, but if it turns into work and it's not, it comes through and it impacts you and you start to resent things like and that's what I told the streamer, man, it's your work. We're all just trying to live in it with you. So you do what you need to do to make yourself happy. And then they switched to a different game and for like a week. And then they came back and they were like, dude, you know what? I just realized I am super happy just playing this. Oh, and they asked me, well, what? I will never stream just one. I will be one of those crazy nutty variety streamers or content creators because there's so many games that have so much to offer in different aspects of how you. Like Spider-Man, holy crap! I think we can all agree one of the best games ever. Zero competitive to Battlefield. It's like they're not even in the same genre, right? And so, but man, I can get lost in that game. I can just swing around the city, avoiding the cops and bad guys, just because the swinging's so much fun.
See, that's how I am too. Like, it doesn't matter what game it is. There's just sometimes, and if it's a good game, especially if it's large, it's got appealing art or whatever, you end up getting stuck in it. You know, like
Yeah.
I'll get on
Yeah.
old Grand Theft Auto or something, you know, some old game even that's has been out forever and a day, and I'll just cruise around and look at stuff. I won't play, you know, technically play the game. I'll just be chilling, checking things out, and it's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, like it's a lot of fun, and doing it by yourself is a good time. And then you know, run around, and this is my favorite thing about it though, is the social aspect. I love getting in there and just hanging out with my buddies, and it doesn't matter what we're doing, whether we're actually playing the game or we're just driving around chilling, talking,
Mm.
whatever. It's an escape. It truly is, because like you said, man, like it doesn't matter what you do for a living, life can be pretty tough. Like things happen and it gets rough, and our ability these days to in a way escape it and hang out with other people and kind of just be relaxed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's added a lot to
You've
my
got to
life,
have
to be
that
honest.
escapism, haven't you? Especially in this day and age of just
Yeah.
complete, you know, media bombardment. Everything's coming at you all the time, you know, and it's this juxtaposed position of the sweet and sour, of the sad and the happy, and it's just everything's everywhere. So, a lot of people with mental health problems, a lot of people with anxiety, depression, people that otherwise wouldn't reach out and necessarily find it easy to socialize, you know, get their fulfillment and get their socialization through gaming, and I think that's as much valid as a real an in real life relationship, you know. And I think over the years, gamers have got a bad rap, you know, and we've been labelled with some crazy stereotypes. And
Mm-hmm.
what I found personally is, you know, in the sort of coming up to 20 years now of gaming, in the 20 years of gaming, I've met some incredible people from all over the world, from all different walks of life. You know, people that have been rich, people that have been poor, people that have been famous, people that have, you know, just been normal, average people that have been some of the funniest people that I've ever met, and, you know, everyone in between. And that's what, you know, gaming, and specifically for me, Battlefield has unlocked, and I think in its own way, that's why one of the many things is that drives Battlefield to be the type of game that it is today, and the type of community that it is today, is very much that diversification and the fact that people, they put away their differences, be it political or, you know, whatever, you know, agendas people have. People tend to put that stuff away when they walk onto the battlefield, and it becomes less about, you know, who you are as a person, and more about, right, that guy's a medic, I'm a support, I'm gonna go back you, you know, and it doesn't matter, you know, let's just get the job done. And that for me is why Battlefield has been such a great home over all these years. You know, how have you? What about yourself, Jeff? Because obviously you're one of the people that really has led this whole mentality, and one of the people that's, you know, in my opinion, taken the Battlefield community really to the next level. So
Absolutely.
yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
So when we came out with that dog tag in Battlefield 1, that's community. I was thinking about that, you know, and yeah, you know, we have some bad actors. Every community has some bad actors. The humanity has some bad actors. But when I look out at the millions play, you know, Battlefield, whatever field they're playing, whether they're still playing 1942 with the old servers, or just playing against bots, folks, excuse me, that are doing the Origin Access trial, man, playing Battlefield for their first time ever. It to me, it is that statement, that best community in the world, really is, because I've been in some other communities. When Skate 3 was out, there was a group called Fluck It, because you know, you flick your thumbs to manipulate the skateboard in Skate 3 and the Skate series, which was one of my favorites. But there was some great folks in there, but there was also some, you know, and that's just how it is. But I think that this community, like, you know, the things that I've seen, gotta catch myself because there's some emotional stuff, man. The things that I've seen with this
Absolutely.
community, like, I've been part of the community, the Battlefield communities, like as far as official, like I've been part of the Battlefield. Actually, codename Eagle, the spiritual predecessor to Battlefield, from Reactor Games. But I've been part of the officially part since the tail end of Bad Company 2 when we released, with the VIP pass. And you know, I helped launch Battlelog, and the thing that I've always appreciated, like in Bad Company 2 forums were, you'd have folks that were like, dude, and you see this dude that nobody knows comes out of nowhere and is like, you know what? Boom, 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 boom. And it's like, he's like, I'm a here company and I build seeds and I can help you out. And then they form that relationship. And then, you know, we have situations where some of our members get very sick. And to see that love of gaming and the love of people, they rally together and they help each other. They donate to GoFundMe's, medical, or they reach out to each other, or someone's having an emotional issue and they don't feel like they know that, you know, you see the offering of, and it's one of the reasons why it is my privilege and honor to be part of this. While I am a community manager, I'm in the trenches with the community because I was a member first, and I'll be a member if I, you know, whenever the fates have decided that I leave Battlefield or EA or whatever, I'm still going to be an ardent supporter and member of this community because of what the community's brought for me and what I've seen the community bring for so many people, you know. And I remember growing up with the origination of the public internet. Right. I'm not talking about ARPANET and the government, you know, 1950s. I'm talking about 1990 when Mosaic was the first real browser that you didn't have to type in the IP addresses of websites. It literally, you could go, I want to go to this website, and there was like 9 of them. and it would and you could see things online. And I back then I was 13, or when I started doing Yahoo Chat, man, meeting people online and making friends. And my mom was like, my mom back then was like super worried. Oh, you don't know these people? And I'm like, yeah, you do.
Oh, I
Because you're
remember
talking
that.
to
Yeah,
but you
Mum.
don't. You then you didn't. You really didn't. But nowadays, I mean, you know, people meet and fall in love through Battlefield.
yeah,
Like literally.
Literally.
yeah.
Uh,
We've got a husband-wife couple on our on LRRP.
and it's badass, dude. Like, it's really badass. And this is, you know, you hear reports of, oh, gaming, blah blah blah, gaming caused this, gaming does this. No, that's people. People cause that. And with everything, you know, there is moderation. But what's good for one person may not be great for the other person. So you can't just blanket. Like, I'm not gonna go out and say gaming's good for everyone, because for some people it's not. Because, you know, people that have addictive personalities, maybe they stop eating for 2 or 3 days because they just can't get off the game, or stuff like that. But from what I've seen within the Battlefield community, it is one of the most passionate, and that is the key word. It is one of the most passionate communities. People care about each other. They care about the game. They care about the brand. They care about the franchise, and they care about having fun. And so it's been overwhelming over the last, you know, 4 years that I've been a CM, to see all of this from an even, like, you know, previously I was EA Agent X, by the way, on Battlelog and the old EA forums, and I was just a forum, and I'm not gonna say just, I was like a senior forum admin, and so I carried the biggest banhammer, and I had no problem wielding it. But after like a year of that on Battlelog, I was like, dude, I don't want to ban. And that was true. I didn't want to. I never liked banning. But I was like, you know what? I want to talk to them, because there's a reason people are acting out, or they're being, you know, whatever. And, you know, okay, so it's a bug. You're really frustrated with the bug. Can you tell me that in a better way than all of this profanity? Because I want to hear it. I want to hear it. But the second that you have 9 curse words in a row, and I think you made up the last one. I don't think that exists. I'm done. I don't want to read that anymore. But by the
Oh
way, I've written
man.
that down because that's a cool insult that I'm going to use later. I don't know, they're not going to know what's going to happen, and it's going to blow their mind. Um, but and so my thing is, we have in as far as community managers and industry folks, we have a responsibility to be the ear for our communities, and like there's certain things that I just absolutely will not tolerate, toxicity, and I'm not throwing around that like catchword of, oh, toxicity, you said something mean, you're toxic. No, man, you can be mean. Like, I'm not giving you permission to be mean. You can talk a little smack, that's fine. But when you go like hate speech or super abusive or direct
Yeah.
threats and things like that,
Mhm.
zero tolerance. I'm done with you, and you're gone.
Yeah.
But I think
Amen.
but I think the main thing, and that's a great stance that we had at EA Play. We did our first safe, healthy, and safe community summit, and we've got a lot of initiatives that we want to do to make gaming better. And Ubisoft is doing really cool stuff with Rainbow Six. Like, you're toxic, you're gone, done, son, bye. And I think that I think that's great. And we have, I will say that I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly in the Battlefield community, especially in the last 6 years. Um, uh, but I will say that the community has rallied itself, and I'm just happy to be part of that. Not saying that we all have our part to play, right? In a community, and that's truly what the word community means. We all have a part to play. We all have a responsibility to the next one. We are truly our brother's keepers, and the finder of lost children. I just went into Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry.
Yep, I love it. I love it. I caught that and was like, yeah,
but
that boy
but
just
but
went there. I like it. That's awesome.
but I think that's the most important thing is, um if you cultivate positivity, and I don't mean, oh, everything's sunshine and rainbows. That's not that's not reality. But if you have a problem, talk about it constructively. But if we can all do that individually, and we can all encourage each other to do that without, you're a jerk, blah blah blah, you leave. Man, nobody should be a gatekeeper. Like, literally, if you gatekeep yourself. If you're a totally toxic, terrible person, you've just closed the gate for yourself. No one should be able to tell you, no, you can't come in here just because you have a different opinion. Now, how you present your different opinion can definitely influence how welcome you are. you know, but
Absolutely. I mean,
but the passion, and that's the thing that I love most about this community, is the passion for each other and for the game, and for the devs, and for fun. And so it's been an honor and a privilege, for 4 years, steward of the community. I don't run the community, but we're stewards. We help shepherd the community in a way. And I know that sounds like a really old man just said that. I'm a shepherd. Not Mass Effect shepherd.
You know,
He and she is also dope.
I think a friend of mine summed it up really well the other day. You're the Jon Snow of the community. How about that?
oh,
I
that's
can dig
good.
that. I know nothing,
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna die
Oh
a couple
boy.
times.
Yeah,
And
you get
I'm not
stabbed.
gonna pet the dog.
Yeah, so yeah, so there
I'd
you
rather
go.
be Tormund Beardsley, honestly.
I love that man.
Yeah, that's
I love that
that's
man.
reserved for Deadeye. That's reserved for Deadeye.
He's Tormund. All right. You
Sort
guys, if
of.
you guys mind if I add really quick, just
Oh, we've lost you there. I think possibly. Dum Dum does a really good robot impression.
you know, I
Poor guy. We'll just leave him for a minute. All right, so my apologies.
Okay, so I
think we've
totally
lost
thought that
him.
was me. I was like, have I
No.
turned into a robot?
No, poor Dum Dum. He's got like that redneck internet, you see, with the straw and the hills and the rolling of the streams. Boy, I tell you what.
Have
Are
I
you back
lost
now?
you fellas?
There we go. Sorry, just repeat everything you just said over the last half an hour.
I do apologize. Yeah, and if you guys didn't catch it earlier, it crashed like maybe 5 minutes into this, and I had to hop onto different equipment and came in like, yeah, I know what's going on. I had no idea. But in any case,
Covered
yeah,
well. Covered well.
yeah, it
Wow, the
crashed.
illusion has been destroyed. I totally thought you were like, I didn't even know. So well played. The magician has showed me his card tricks. Thanks.
Oh yeah, well, hey man, you got to do what
You've
you got
just
to do, you
ruined
know.
Jeff's
So
childhood.
the name is Dum Dum, so I can just kind of get away with being Dum Dum. Yeah, it's kind of nifty. But I wanted to comment really quickly about we were just talking about the Battlefield community and
Yeah.
the gaming community as a whole. And I think it's really important that I say something about that. As you guys both know, I was a recent recipient, my wife and I, of that passion and that love and that support that I know the gaming community for. Like you said, we see in the news, gamers this and gamers that. Well, my experience with it for 15, 20 years, however long it's been, has been the opposite. I have time and again seen individuals and communities come together to support other individuals and communities
Mm-hmm.
just at the drop of a hat. I've seen, whether it be, like you said, for medical conditions or an emergency, a family emergency, natural disaster. I've seen it. I've literally been in close proximity to people that have come together or led other people to come together
Yeah.
to assist. I know people that do that, and I've been a recipient of it, and it is overwhelming. My team leader, Boondock Saints, that man is just. I saw, he did this for me. He's done this for other people, and there's other people in the community that I've seen and heard about. When something goes wrong with one of their members, they just jump at the bit to help them and to rally people behind them, and it is huge. The impact it has
Yeah.
is there are no words for it. I've been so lifted up personally, my wife and I, and helped out on such a level that I can't put words to it. And I want to thank the community, and that's who we are. That's who you guys are. That's who all of us are as gamers. It's incredible. We've got something good going. And Jeff, for people like you that promote that and guide those communities in those ways and provide the infrastructure, hats off, man. And there's not enough. You can't say thanks enough. So when we're talking about what the community means, so that's, to me, that is the most important thing personally. That's what I think of first when I think of gaming these
Yeah.
days. So when we talk
I
about it, it hits home, and I've gotta throw that in because it's affected my life so deeply, and I'm so eternally grateful. So thank you to everyone, and that's my piece. I'll stop with that.
one of my favorite movies is Lilo and Stitch, and to me, community means Ohana, and Ohana means no one gets left behind or forgotten, and that's what I want for this community is nobody gets left behind, nobody gets forgotten. Everyone has a seat at the table. Everyone feels welcome until they make themselves not welcome. Obviously, right? Like
Yep.
like we gotta
It's the
have
meaning
that.
of life, man.
Unfortunately, we gotta unfortunately have that tiny caveat. Until you make yourself not welcome, you're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
But we are family, dude. It is the Battlefield family, and it goes all the way from our support staff that answer the phones and chats that help folks out, who are some really passionate, dedicated people, to our volunteer moderators, our game changers, our content creators, fans on Twitter, Redditors, Reddit mods who are Reddit mods are I am so honored and privileged to be able to be part of that Reddit because it is like they really work to cultivate a healthy community, without being overbearing, of course. Our forum mods, our social support teams, our community management, our devs, the artists and magicians with digital stuff that just make this one of the most amazing things are our studio leads and studio heads, and all everybody, celebrities who are secretly fans, and you don't even know it until you're playing one day, and then all of a sudden you hear a familiar voice on comms, and you're like, wait a minute, is that so and so, or it's we're family, dude. We're all family, and sometimes family pisses each other off, but that's the beauty of family, because you love each other and you continue fighting for each other, even if you have to sometimes fight with each other. And as long as it's done with love and the betterment of each other, I think it's the best thing in the world. And I never want to stop gaming.
No, absolutely. That's one of the things that I want to really be able to do is, my objective here, and it's no easy objective, is to be able to play this with my grandchildren. I want to be able to take this game, its philosophy, everything that it's taught me over the years, and be able to instill that in the future generations, because I genuinely do believe that there are some amazing life skills to be learnt from playing Battlefield. And one of the things that we wanted to do for you next, Jeff, is we've got some pretty epic moments that we've captured over the last sort of couple of years, from the competitive side. We've had our teams, as you know, the Hardcore League is very heavily involved with the competitive side of Battlefield, and looking back over the last couple of years, we've had some amazing matches and moments that really encompass that sort of PTFO teamwork and mentality in a way that you don't quite get as well, in public games, because what you're seeing is 32 players coming together, going up against another 32 players, and these guys, instead of being in 6 separate squads, these guys are all communicating. They've already got pre-set out plans and tactics. They all know each other and how each other work, and what we've seen is just some incredibly nuclear explosive moments during competitive. So I'm not too sure, are you currently logged into the Hardcore League channel? Will you be able to see these?
Yeah.
I appreciate
it.
it.
On Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I will, here you go. Well, this is going to be Enjoy versus Long Range Recon Patrol during one of our earlier matches, going back possibly even two
better
not show
me getting it's got me getting hurt in that. You better not show it.
Might do.
I better
be
doing something just badass.
You might want to turn your sound up though, but here you go. I'll run this clip. There might be a bit of a delay, but here you go, guys. Check it out. Lesson. He's covering those corners. Unfortunately, just catching a squad bomb there. Oh, and Spartan H2O coming in and managing to get a kill. That was some intensity, guys. Please do clip that, because that was an incredible moment. And Raptor being the lone survivor, but talk about everybody dies. That was absolutely amazing to see. And it looks like Enjoy. You know what? I seriously missed those maps on Battlefield 1.
I've been playing it a lot.
They're fun maps.
When
They're really
I can play.
So that was one of our moments. As I said, that was Enjoy versus Long Range Recon Patrol, and those are two of the real tip of the iceberg teams that have Long Range Recon Patrol a little bit newer to the scene relative to Enjoy, who have been with the Hardcore League since the beginning. And I know that was a particularly brutal match. Those guys, I can't remember exactly what they were fighting over, but there was definitely some kind of prize. I think it was the end of a tournament, and from a competitive point of view, it was just it was myself shoutcasting, and that was actually, quite brutal. I think there was one lone survivor, possibly.
It's the way of the road, bud. It's the way she goes.
I think possibly one lone survivor. But yeah, no, so that was just one moment. The next clip we've got is TWT, which is Trench Warfare Tactics, and they went up against ST6, which is Straight Team 6. And again, Trench Warfare Tactics, unfortunately, I don't think together at the moment. But Strike Team 6, run by Gray St. Maur, one of the veteran teams that have been with Hardcore League and in the competitive scene on Battlefield for a number of years, but check it out, my dude. TWT, who are only currently 110 points ahead, but looking at it, TWT just coming in and wiping out the vanguard of Strike Team 6. We saw members flying, bodies going absolutely everywhere. Strike Team 6 getting absolutely and definitively wiped out on Charlie Flag by Trench Warfare. Oh, what I found about that scene, it was almost choreographed. You know, sometimes the way these scenes come together are just incredible.
Oh wow!
Have you?
Just a walkthrough, man. It happens.
But yeah, no. As I say, sometimes these teams, the way they come together, it is just incredible to see, especially when, you know, it's a veteran team, and as I say, they know how each other sort of integrate and how they play together, and being able to capture these moments from a spectator view, sometimes you're just absolutely blown away. You literally can't get your words out. It's so intense, and you're so taken with the passion of the moment. But yeah, have you ever sort of played competitively in the past, sort of like in previous Battlefields?
No, So my problem, I have a huge assortment of video games, like too many. I have too many games because
Yeah.
I think my Steam library has like over 400, and we all know that the percentages of how many games people actually play on their Steam library, it's like 13%. But
Yeah.
I have a problem with games as far as I get distracted easily, and so I wouldn't be a great teammate. I can understand the drive and the dedication to competitive, and I can appreciate the competitive nature of competitive gaming. It's not my flavor. Like I will play I played Incursions, and I thought that was a really interesting take. I've watched the 8v8 leagues back in the day with Battlefield 4, and I was just like, wow. But and that's when Drunksy was competing. But when you see someone play like Drunksy, it's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna go ahead and burn my computer because I don't ever want to see him on a normal Battlefield. And I am one of those people that I can appreciate that these are, and this is a controversial statement I'm about to say. They are athletes. Athletes in video games are different than Olympic athletes or football players and things like that. But the same dedication, the same passion, the same structured routines are necessary for their success that we see gold medalists or World Cup winners have to adopt. Also, if you look at a lot of these professional esports teams, and even like the semi-pro teams and the starting off teams, these are people that they don't just play video games. They also work out. They eat healthy. They try to take care of their lives because you got to take care of your body because you only get one. You don't get to respawn. You don't get to change your loadout on your body. You got to take care of your health because your health is important for you to be able to focus and function and play to the top of your game. And so I have mad respect for competitive players of any games, whether it's Overwatch or Apex or Battlefield, because that is some dedication and drive and some focus. And my problem is I just don't have the focus to play. I mean, I could jump into a match, but I'll be knocked out in the first round, no problem. And I'll have fun. Like my thing is, I can understand it and I can appreciate it, but to me, it's not my flavor of fun. I can totally get why some people love it and that intensity and that adrenaline rush, but for me, because of especially now working in the industry and stuff, when I play games, I just want to have fun. I want to be distracted.
Absolutely.
I want to do my thing. I want to PTFO. I want to be a good squad member, but I just want to have some fun. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like it's at the end of the day, it's it's not life or death to my happiness if I lose every single match. It's frustrating, and that's why sometimes I don't go on mic. Because
I have those
I,
days.
Oh yeah.
I didn't always have a filter on my words, and so I'm like, so I have to be, but I have fun, and that's the thing. But I absolutely enjoy watching, especially good competitors and evenly matched teams, really go at it, and you see
Yeah.
that struggle. One of my favorite things lately is I do a lot of the screenshots, like the This Week in Battlefield, the weekly debrief, and stuff like that. Most of the screenshots we started off using official assets, and then I started looking into the community, and then I was like, dude, we got a 2080. I'm just gonna go spectate, and I would just sit there and like sometimes I'll forget that I just need to take a quick screenshot, and I'll just sit there and I'll watch these matches, and I'll switch from player to player, and I'll do flybys, and I'll chase the planes and watch them, and I'm just like, wow, the community has some
Yep.
badass players,
Yeah.
and the watching of it is so interesting, especially if you know the game really well. For those that, like, I will say there's a hard learning curve with competitive, even watching competitive Battlefield, because if you don't know the maps, if you don't know the game, if you don't know the squads, if you don't know the classes, if you don't know the weapons, it's like, oh, what the hell's going on? The first time I tried to watch competitive CS:GO way back in the day, I was like, I derp, I don't know what's
Derp.
happening. And then I started playing CS:GO. I was like, oh, okay, cool, no doubt. Jake Peralta, what? 499 is one of the best shows ever. Man, I should be getting sponsorship like from all these shout outs to their various brands. Pulp Fiction, where's my monies?
Yeah, right. There's still residuals,
Andy
I'm sure.
Samberg, I need $1. No, it's interesting. Competitive Battlefield, competitive gaming is a very, very interesting thing, and I think people have been competing for years, but I think we're going to start seeing a huge increase, not just in more tournaments and bigger prize purses and things like that, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot of games uh, creating a space for competitive, and that's one of the things I've always appreciated about Battlefield is when the community has the right tools, they can make the coolest stuff ever. From the ridiculous videos of Doom 49 and the Doom 49ers where they put like 64 CS4 C4s on a train track and blow everything up. To the launching of tanks on 2 buildings, like I saw Bold Warrior 14 do the other day. I laughed my face off. Took a minute to put it back on, and then the competitive players, with Battlefield 4, there wasn't like they created their own competitive thing with the right tools, and that's one of the things that I've been driving for since before Battlefield 1 is the right tools, and I'm super excited about private matches, man. I'm super
Oh yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get back into talking about Battlefield stuff. I literally just took the horse and I'm leading you to water. I'm super excited about that because it's something people that who know me well and know that I've been so dedicated to getting it right for Battlefield. The tools sets, the feature sets, and when I first heard about it, like, gosh, it was right at launch. I was in Sweden for 2 weeks during launch, and I talked to the lead dev on that, and I was just like, dude, we need this. And he's like, yeah, but this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it, and phases and things like that. And I was like, okay. And then we kept talking about it, and they had that first tool set that we did the community broadcast about, and I was like, oh my god! Like first off, free? What? Free? That's crazy. Who does free? For all of these things, and then we created this community development initiative where we want feedback from the community, like, hey, these are the things we want to give you at the start. What else do you want? Okay, we can't give that at the start, but maybe in the next phase we'll have this, or maybe in the third phase, or whatever phases, right? And so I'm super, super stoked to see that coming out after summer, and we're already like internally, and obviously I can't go into details. We're already talking about other things, other feature sets, and things like that, because it's super important. We don't want to continue reinventing the wheel every time we do something.
Yes.
And
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
and so we want to make sure that when we get this, it's perfect. And maybe not perfect at the beginning, right? Everything, little tweaks, little
But
shine ups.
as well as can be,
Right, and then we continue improving on it, but not reinventing it every time. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited about the future of Battlefield 5, especially with private game or private matches. Chapter 5 is going to be insane.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
a lot
just
of people.
blown
A lot
away.
of people been talking about. A lot of people are getting really, really excited, and it's getting closer. So people are getting antsy. It's getting good.
Oh, absolutely.
we have
I
a
was.
member of the community, Spartan GW117, I believe. Greg Wong. He does reenactments, World War II reenactments. He's a big fan of weapons and things like that. He does airsoft tournaments
Lucky
and all
guy.
that. And yeah, dude, he's badass. And
That sounds
and
awesome.
he also he's a member of the Jurassic Park motor pool. He
What?
has a Jeep that looks directly like one of the Jeeps from the original Jurassic Park. I'm not even joking. It's
Always
so dope.
wanted one. We just had a long conversation about that recently. I've always wanted one of those. That's too
It's so
cool.
cool. And so he was talking to me right at EA Play, and he was like, "Chapter 5, man." And this is before the live stream, right? He's like, "Chapter 5." He goes, "Please tell me there's going to be Iwo Jima." I was like, "I can't tell you anything."
God.
And then
Ooh.
like 30 minutes later at the live stream, boom, Iwo Jima was mentioned, and I was like, he texted me. He goes, "Bastard!" I was like, "I know, right?" It's like it's exciting. So it's gonna be fun. But as I tell folks on Reddit and forums, I want to get through chapter 4 first. We've got a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah.
We've got Alcazar, we've got Merida, we've got the close quarter maps coming. We've got these firestorm changes coming up. I'm super excited about that. Looting fixes, manual leaning and firestorm.
Oh, brilliant.
All sorts of fun stuff. So I'm stoked, man. It's like the '80s song, "The future's so bright I gotta wear shades." Man, they're not super dark Tom Cruise Top Gun shade. They're a little grayish, but it's still
Right,
gonna
yeah,
be. We've
sheen.
got a good rest of 2019 for us as gamers, but also I'm super excited for the community to
Yeah.
how the community feels about the stuff.
No, absolutely. I think it'll be looking forward to even just imminently the next 2 months. It's just going to be so packed with content and just features, and it's a really exciting time to be a part of the Battlefield community, and hopefully we can bring some new blood into the community as we've hopefully managed to continue doing, really, because it's always good to bring people that haven't previously bought Battlefield in and introduce them. I do have another couple of clips here I do want to show you, Jeff, from a couple of different events and Battlefield events that we've supported and hosted over the last couple of months. But this one in particular, my dude, this one just blows me away. Well, the next 2 actually just blow me away. I just got lost on them, so I'm just going to run those now, my dude. Check them out. Alright, so covering Delta at the moment, Manny Savage still pushing up hard with a kill-death ratio of 34 kills to 13 deaths. That is nothing short of incredible. This guy is laying the pain down, taking no casualties and committing those war crimes. These guys are super on point on this objective at the moment. It is just incredible to see these guys working together. So, oh my days! That was just incredible kill by Amp! Wow! Sorry guys, that I just get so carried away with this, but damn! That was just a savage bomber kill right there on Delta objective. Wow! So yeah,
Oh my lord!
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty unforgiving. Oh my god. And when you do capture these moments, honestly, there's no better feeling in the world. There really isn't. And knowing that these guys, they get a kick out of it. They get one hell of a kick out of it. And I don't think I'm the only person that's excited. I am definitely not the only person that's excited. But that map though, Felge, it just lends itself to just those epic genocidal war crime sort of, I don't know what you want to call them, streaks.
I love that map.
Streaks of pain.
Yeah, I'm usually the guy under the freaking bomber. Typically, is my experience, and I've seen that happen countless times. It's brutal, absolutely brutal, painful experience, truly. Yeah, I see someone pops up in the chat. Yeah, can we nerf the bombers, please? He pulls nerf bombers. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they should stay as they are. They're disgusting, and I like it.
Hashtag dice, please.
I don't know, Shadows. I don't know, Shadows, man. Damn. But no, that was that clip in particular that did make me laugh. There have been times when I have almost fallen off my chair, and I know Deadeye's had similar experiences, and actually Mason too. I don't think I've heard any occasions of you almost falling off your chair during a stream though, Dum Dum. So you got to catch up with us there, buddy.
Well, I'm dumb, dude. I'm always behind, I are Dum Dum and all.
Oh, here we go. And this, again, it's going to be Enjoy, and this is versus the Nepalese Gurkhas. These guys, they were just going absolute toe-to-toe. But this shot is just sexual. Honestly, it'll just get you moist. But here you go, check it out. And these guys are running as a vanguard at the moment on Charlie objective. Quite a tight run. They've got this building locked down, but that's... Oh my days! That was a big explosion! And it looks like Alert just managed to wipe out that entire squad! Oh! How are they going to come back from that? That is just brutal. That is just a war crime. That's genocide! So yeah, that was wow. Enjoy Alert, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty brutal stuff, like how, to be honest.
Yeah, you see how quickly the coordination just completely envelops the objective, takes over, and it's like, yeah, no one's gonna survive here. This is our spot now. We're just gonna chill here.
Yeah, just a great example there of how just. If you've got armor and you've got infantry supporting that armor, that mechanized infantry approach can do some serious damage. But oh, Deadeye, I'm sorry, my dude. Yeah, I don't have any of your clips downloaded. I know I should get some of your clips. I've just put all my clips off. I knew you'd yell at me. I knew you'd be angry. That's me getting hit when the podcast's over. He hits me where people can't see it.
Well done, sir.
Hey, but as always, this is a team effort here at Hardcore League, and I was going to touch on this anyway, but we've got a few members of staff, and we've got Mr. Deadeye, and Mason and Bosch, who of course are the founders, starting it back in 2014. We're just taking a temporary break at the moment, a little bit of a hiatus, guys. But hopefully going to be back towards the end of September. Deadeye just he needed to go and get some surgery done, and I think he was looking at getting some Botox, some new lips there.
Some
Deadeye?
Changes.
Yeah, he was going to get some changes. And Mason, I think, just had a yes. Oh dear me! Well, that's me getting beat with the belt as soon as the podcast's over. But if you're gonna do it, let's do it properly.
I was about to say, man, they're gonna get an egg beater for you.
Oh my god, the flying egg beater! The flying egg beater right to the face.
Take that egg beater and small your back, bro.
Oh,
you're gonna get laid out.
Oh dear me. But yeah, I mean, so we've got Al Sudan coming up. Al Sundan on Sundan on Al
Right.
Sundan. God, it's every new map. I massacre the name of it. Go on, how are we pronouncing it?
Allison Dan.
Brilliant. I wasn't wrong. So yeah, now that we've got the name locked down, that looks like, I mean, I've only seen one very small screenshot, and obviously it's going to be desert sort of style environment. Looking forward to getting down to grips with it. Have we got too many details to hand at the moment, or is that more sort of close to the chest at this stage?
For right now, it's close to the chest, and
No worries.
you know, we saw that Part Welsh, aka the lovely and vivacious Adam Freeman, the star of Battlefield Stream for EA Play. So damn proud of him, because Adam and I started off basically in the same kind of introduction to EA.
Yeah.
He used to do EA support in Galway, Ireland, which is where the other. So I worked in the Austin Center. He worked in the EU Center, and so I mean it's super cool to see, you know, the progress of that of Adam. You know, he and I have had very similar paths, and never really got to work super closely together. But it's awesome that we're on the same team and we get to do what we do for the Battlefield community. You know, he put out that that update, and while it's not the best news in the world, I think from my personal perspective, as a gamer, when I see that kind of transparency, you know, hey, we found an issue, and we're gonna fix it because we want this to be a great experience when it's fully live. So Monday, we will have more information. We will have a full confirmation of how this is going to come out. Currently on the big modes, it has some issues, and we want to iron those out. We release that to the community, but we are looking at potentially having some of the smaller modes just to be able to get the map out and get people's feedback on the map and stuff like that. So I'm excited, and we'll have a information on Monday, because and this is the reality of it. You know, QA teams are testing it all throughout the weekend. You know, we found this, they're working on so that we can, you know, bring out full scope of the map as soon as possible. But you know, and this is true. You know, we don't want to bring out a new maps because the community has been asking maps for months. And you know, we had Pandastorm, and then we got Mercury, and I love Mercury. I've been to Greece, and I was like, I showed my wife. I was in spectator mode, and I just went along the coast nice and slow, and she's like, dude, that looks like Santorini. I was like, well, it's based on Crete. I was like, but yeah. And she's like, that really looks like Greece.
It does,
like,
doesn't
well,
it?
I was like 70 years ago. I was like, you know, it's more modern now.
Yeah, it's got a motorway.
Yeah. Right. And so, you know, we want to make sure that Alson Dan is super great and super viable. We are going to get and so we'll have more information. Yeah, we'll have more information on Monday for sure about exactly how this is going to roll out. We do have the update coming this chapter, Defying the Odds 8. Currently, unless and this is all, and I mentioned this in my weekly debrief, you know, everything depends on certification first party. And you know, I'm going to answer the question that gets asked almost every single time when I post we're waiting on first party. I'm not throwing Microsoft, Sony on the bus. That's not how that rolls. We can pass cert internally quickly on PC, but we want parity across platforms. So we don't want to release the map on PC and then PS4 and Xbox have to wait a week or whatever. We've seen as gamers what happens when games do that, and it creates frustration and division in the community. And to me, I don't platform. You're in the Battlefield community. You can be a PC player, PS player, Xbox player. You can play all three, 2, 3, whatever. But we want everyone to be able to enjoy it. And so, like, that's one of the things why when I post, you know, waiting on cert, it's not like it's not throwing them under the bus. Also, not saying that we're not ready, blah blah blah. But it's like, you know, they have their rules, and we want to abide. Also want to have. So when we release an update, it goes out to everybody that should get it. So I have a meeting 7 a.m. Pacific Monday morning, final checks, and we should know if we've passed cert as per usual. Once we have passed cert for the update, uh, we'll drop the patch notes and the availability. Cool thing about this update though, zero downtime. So like let's say the update is available at 8 UTC on PC, right? You can be playing. You're not going to get kicked off the servers, but as soon as that match is over, log out, download the update, log back in, and go back to play.
Boom.
Get those fixes and changes.
Dude.
So
Nice.
it's very, very cool. I'm looking forward to the day, and it's not. I don't think it's too far off when companies are able to do. I don't know the right term for it, but like embedded update, where like you're playing, and in the background, and obviously the network's gonna have to be so much better globally.
Yeah.
You're playing, and in the background, it's downloading that update. So when you roll to the next match, it automatically updates.
Boom.
I'm
Done.
thinking
Yeah.
clouds. Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna have to wait until there's full cloud, like for everything, because then it'll be just like the cloud is updated and you're updated, play again, no problem. You don't miss
Yeah.
the beat, you just keep going.
No
So,
local.
but
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to being able to share that. We've got some community broadcasts in the hopper. We've got some on the Battlefield dev talks in the hopper. Like I think we've got like 8 more that Adam's already recorded, working on when we're gonna drop them out. I mean, it's super exciting. The one thing that I will say about this game compared to the past 5 Battlefields there's been more concerted effort and communication than ever in the history of this franchise. We have devs rolling up on Reddit, devs doing tweets like Random Deviation is his Twitter handle. He tweeted out a picture of him holding an M40 pointed at his screen, and in the screen a character's pointing an M40, and in that screen, but it just goes like it's like the inception of the M40. But I mean, they love doing that, sharing those tidbits. I have this really. There's one of our devs went over to one of the universities here in Los Angeles and spoke about levels and how things work. And I just got an email yesterday from the university that I'm able to use that video. They gave me the full version of not just the YouTube link. And so I want to do a community broadcast about level design. These are the things that we want to continue talking about. Not just, hey, we've got this coming and this coming and this coming. That's a news beat. But we want to talk about like design stuff. We want to talk about the passion that these devs have, why they make decisions and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, Battlefield absolutely needed it, but I think it was the catalyst that got not just us as community managers, but the community more interested in detailed information. But I have to be truthful and give credit where it's due. We saw this starting off with our community manager Star Wars pitch note, where they talk about what's coming up this week, what's happening this week, and these are the upcoming updates. These are the trouble issues we have. And then Ben Walkie took over sports community. He started the community transmissions. The CT. I just call them CT. Community transmission.
Right.
Where like he talks about everything, like announcing Droideka, all of this stuff, and it's just like and when he became the global manager for Battlefield, he's the global manager for all of time. So he handles Battlefield, Battlefronts, all Star Wars games. He also works with Need for Speed and EA Original. So he's a very busy man, which is why he has underlings or minions like Adam and myself to do the day-to-day stuff. But his ideas have been really, really instrumental in helping inform the communities side of the works on. And so I mean we're and this isn't me just grassing whatever, really, really lucky as a community of gamers, whatever whatever gameplay that he gets to work on, to have him, because he has so much passion about being honest and transparent and telling people it is, even if it's something that you don't love to hear, but it's this is it. And I think that's something that
Yeah.
we continually need to work on. We need to continually improve, and we're going to, because Adam, and myself have the same passion to increase transparency, increase information that you guys as soon as we can. And obviously we're limited and bound by certain things. But it's cool, man. It's cool. We had a Dan Mitri before him, super passionate about community, super wanted to help start like the This Week in Battlefield, debrief, the Only in Battlefield Tuesdays, all that. He and I started that launch about, and I carried that torch because, like, if we don't have a roadmap for that for each, I'm going to give you a roadmap. I'm going to tell you every week what's happening.
Yeah.
Because an informed community ask, and I'm not crapping on any questions that we get asked. Most every question is valid, but an informed community asks less of the non-necessary questions and asks the harder, deeper questions. And I think that's important, because those harder, deeper questions is what spark discussions internally, what help us make the game better. It's that whole community development initiative, man. We don't want you to have to ask, when is this happening? You'll know. You got a calendar. Now ask me a better question. Not saying your question's not great, but ask me a better question, something you really want to know. Why is how do you get better? Here's my suggestion. That sort of stuff. And that's what I look forward to.
No, absolutely, and I think it comes together nicely as well. I think I like the way the whole chapter release breakdown of everything that we've got going. I think we've got a lot of communication coming out of EA and DICE here from the likes of yourself. I've noticed that we're going to be getting a rank increase, sort of new. Are we in a minefield right now, or are we good to talk about that a little bit?
We're great to talk about that. We had a great community
That sounds
broadcast
sexy.
Dude, 500. What?
Oh.
So, yeah. So you're gonna. So like obviously, and these are. I'm gonna share some of the answers that I've been questions that I've had on Reddit and forums, and then share some of the answers, and then of course let's talk about this progression. That's what, or no, promotion. So people have asked, why didn't you just start off with 100? Well, it's the design decision. One, I don't truly think the dev made people love it. I really don't. I don't know for sure, but I mean, we saw it, and and I'll be honest, I was doing daily reports for Battlefield 5 from November 8th through December 6th. A month, every day I was doing sentiment, conversation volume, top issues, feedback. I was throwing quotes in there. These are the hot threads on the forums and Reddit, all that sort of sharing that information. And within 2 weeks, we saw people maxing on rank, and we were like, uh-oh, ruh-roh. So, but then they were like, well, why didn't you add 50 more levels? Well, it's just not literally that easy, because then you have to look at, okay, what is the multiplier for the next level? Should 50 to 51 be 1.15 times harder than going from 40 to 50? Should it, and how do you increase that? Also, rewards. Well, okay, so you have to literally create vectors of vector art or emblems, medals, all of that. Then you have to have a reward. I don't like people who chase after max rank. I don't care. This is actually the first Battlefield game I've ever gotten fully max rank, because I used to play on all three. Kind of do, but it's really, really hard playing on all three platforms and ranking up each one, especially when you're like ranked 77 Battlefield on PS4. Then you go to Xbox and you're like, I don't have the gun I love. It's so frustrating. But then you have to think about the rewards. We have Tides of War as well. We've got that progression. We've got class progression. We've got weapon progression and specialization, and that all. And so they really wanted to look at this. And I'm not lying or exaggerating. They have been looking at this since December, when we figured out that, oh, too fast. And so we didn't want to hamstring anybody by slowing it down. But we also wanted to make sure that when we bring out this question system that adds more to on the back end, that in game, as you for other types of games, we wanted to make sure that it was rewarding to go. And oh well, you could just prestige. Well, like Call of Duty does, and I think that's a system too. But what do you get when you prestige? You start all over beginning. It's harder to get XP, and you lose all your unlocks in some games, right? I'm not saying Call of Duty. I haven't prestige ever in Call of Duty, so I'm not quite sure. But so they wanted to make it a good system that encourages people to continue playing, because that's what we want. We want people to play the game. And it also doesn't become an onerous task where it's just like, oh, grind. It's like where it's fun and rewarding,
Exactly.
and you have something to look forward to. It's like, oh, level 55, I'm going to get this. Level 6, whatever, however that works. And so now the community broadcast, really, really cool. It said that you'll get rewards as you progress, and then every 50 levels, you get a public notification, like you're going to get something that you can show off you got to the next 50, and we're going to do that for all the way up to 500. And then well, Broken Machine, I'm going to answer Broken Machine on the Twitch chat. Dinosaurs, I'm going to quote Ian Malcolm. Look, man, they had their chance and they died. That's it.
Oh my god, you're right though. Yeah, that takes me back. Was that Battlefield 3 or was that Battlefield 4? That was Battlefield 4, wasn't it?
Dinosaurs?
Yeah, you had whole swathes of the community calling out for dinosaurs. God.
Like I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't unheard by the Dice Dev teams. They heard it, and there was jokes around, not in a negative way. They're just like, dude, we should blah 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 blah, just to troll and just to have fun. I do love the fact that we had, what was it, Dragon Valley. You could literally hear a T-Rex in the background. That was one of the Easter eggs. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was.
And then you see the trees moving off in the distance where you can't even go because it's so far past the boundaries. You're like, dun, 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 dun. Where's John Hammond? We're gonna go to Jurassic
We need
Park.
the music. We need the music.
Yeah,
Hold on to your butts.
God.
That's like the
But,
greatest line of any movie ever, I think.
Did you Jeff? Did
From
you
Samuel
ever?
L. Jackson, yeah.
Did you
That-
get to play 2142? Just going off on a slight tangent myself.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
I really enjoyed 2142. I thought it was interesting. At the time I was into quite a few other games. I used to be a huge sports gamer too. Like huge. Like every Madden, every NCAA, I would get them and I draft and I trade and all that business. I did play a lot of 2142 and I really, really enjoyed it. Rose tinted glasses. I mean, it's an old game, man. And you look back and where we're at, even like, let's say we just go outside of the Battlefield franchise. You look at what games are able to do now, and then you look at what we played, what they were able to do then, a decade ago or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow. So like I hear a lot of folks say it's the best, XXX is the best game ever, and it's like, I don't know if you can compare the two today. You literally can't. But at the time, yeah, it was a top. And
Oh, I used to love it.
Does it bring great nostalgia and great feelings, and you had great time? And so that's absolutely, like, I just thinking about Bad Company too. I never understood why it frustrated the heck out of me. Also, the not being able to run into diagonal, that was like, what? But nowadays, we've got a roll mechanic, for goodness sake. And I roll like Sonic in Battlefield 5.
Mhm.
Jump out of a window and I roll. Jump off the side of a mountain and I
Oh,
roll.
it's true.
I mean,
Yeah, the animations.
so good.
Yeah, they are good.
Anyways, 2142, what were we going to say?
No, I was just reminiscing more than anything. I just remember Titan mode and just how they made sort of carrier assault based on Titan mode, and obviously again this is more just speculation and more just sort of salivating at the thought. But do you think now, like with Battlefield 1, we saw the introduction of Grand Operations, which was amazing? Do you envisage any sort of large grand game modes like Titan mode, like Carrier Assault, like Grand Operations in the near future?
I am not at liberty to discuss.
No worries. That's fine. That's fine. That's good to know. But I'll just continue salivating. I'll just sit here and salivate. It's fine.
Don't make me Tom Hardy you. That's bait.
Oh damn!
This
But
ain't
yeah,
my first rodeo.
but yeah, no. That Titan mode, one hell of a mode. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Titan mode was a it was basically split up into, I think, about 2 or 3 phases. Each team had a floating base. Now, bearing in mind, 2142 was a futuristic based battlefield. Near future, it was about 100 years in the future, 150 years, and it was interesting. It was it was in a time when Battlefield was looking at changing its from its traditional modern warfare sort of basis. If I'm not mistaken, 2142 did that come out before Bad Company 1 or after Bad Company 1?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's go to the helpful, handy dandy Wikipedia. Battlefield franchise releases. And yep, every time I type something.
I'm sorry, I've just seen what Bosch has written in chat there. Bosch being our community global manager. When you're in a public restroom and the lights are on motion sensor and listening to Jeff's stories and the lights go out, oh my days, that would just be like almost like a little bit of a horror movie sort of feel to it, I'd imagine. Maybe just get some creepy music in the background there. Here's Jeffy!
Brilliant.
So, let's see. Yeah, Battlefield 1940 or 2142 came out in 2006 from on the Refractor 2 engine. Bad Company came out in 2008. And then Bad Company 2 came out in 2010. So yeah, there was that gap between. Yeah, Titan mode was cool. I went back recently and played as we were leading up to Battlefield 5. I went back and played a lot of the old Battlefields. 1942, 1943. Which I thought was fun. I mean, 1943 to me is my pure flying game, especially when you're flying around like Wake Island and stuff like that.
God, I love.
But then I went back and played.
Great
so
map.
much fun.
Great map.
And then I went back to 2142, and I was just like, there was I got into a full server because like there's that website. There's other websites, but I know there's one that we have on our FAQ when we lost the GameSpy server. Game Ranger, they basically host servers for old games. Super great, and I had some fun. It did bring back some nostalgia and some love and some happiness. But it's a different world, and people ask me all the time about 2143, and I'm like, because personally, I wouldn't want. We have a ton of awesome futuristic games, and I'm not saying that Battlefield on the next engine or whatever engine version we're at or gonna be at or whatever. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be fantastic to see what Battlefield engine could do and the mechanics of Battlefield and all of that for a future game. but I found my most fun in like the World War One, World War Two,
Mm-hmm.
The Vietnam, Battlefield Vietnam. Dope.
Oh, don't.
Oh. And flying through, listening to Fortunate Son, just like in the movies, like Apocalypse Now style. And then the modern and near future ones, near
Yeah.
future, like Battlefield 4. So I prefer those. For to me, just me, personal opinion, for the Battlefield franchise.
Yeah.
Games that want to do the super future stuff with laser weapons
Mm-hmm.
and space wizards, they do it and they do it great.
Wizards.
First off, I'm gonna put this out there. Let's not try to cover up what they really are. Jedi and Sith are just space wizards. That's all they are. Space wizards.
Wow,
with
mind
with
blown.
with glowing
Big
laser
bombs
magic
being
wands.
dropped.
Like, we're crushing people's childhoods here.
I think it'd be dope if we had a future one, if we ever do one. I think it would be dope, and I think it would be beautiful, and I think it would be a lot to play. And I think there's so much opportunity to add so much ridiculous, weird things to that. But then that's the problem with that. You can add so much weird, but is it balanced? Does this crazy laser weapon that can do basically a gamma pulse ray from a supernovae star, is it going to be OP against the guy that just has charged fusion bullets or whatever?
It gets very complex.
And so it gets very
And
complex, and
sciencey.
especially when you don't know. Like the cool thing that I like about the 20th century battlefields, basically, from World War One to Battlefield 4, is the fact that these weapons, they know what these weapons really do. Like our weapons designers really go out and shoot weapons. They go out and find these historians that know every detail about these weapons, and they try to make them as historically accurate while also fun. Because let's be real, if some of these belt-fed machine guns in different Battlefield games were historically accurate, you would die a lot more than you normally do. Because the belts jam, the guns blow up, the guns break, that sort of thing. That's reality. And so, there's always that balance of reality and fun. But when you go future, it gets really weird because like Mass Effect is a great game. I love Mass Effect series. Mass Effect 3 was super interesting because you have remember Snake in Mortal Kombat 3 where he could do that bomb. He would shoot that bomb, and if it hit you, he'd make you fly towards him, and then he could uppercut you and do all that craziness. Well, Mass Effect 3 had something similar, and I'm just sitting there going, isn't this OP? Like, he's like literally make the big bad guy fly off the map, and it's like, and so with Battlefield, you got to ask yourself, as much as that would be fun, are we going too far to planet side, too, or are we going way too far into Mass Effect? And then Star Wars, Star Trek, that sort of thing.
No,
where does that like at a certain point?
I'm glad to hear this.
Belief is suspended.
I think it's important. Battlefield and like all games, to a certain extent. I think stick to your lane. Be proud of who you are and where you've come from. And Battlefield is a very unique game. It's still to this day in 15 years there has not been a serious contender that offers the same large scale experience on the same level that is commercially as commercially successful as Battlefield. So it's definitely good to see them stick to that. But for me personally, I just I did think 2142 was a good game, like you say. I think nowadays with the level of popularity that we've got, it would be good to see Battlefield sticking to its more traditional sort of settings. especially like if we can get another Battlefield Vietnam. Now that would be
Yes.
ooh,
Yes.
ooh, makes me moist, makes me all sweaty, makes me all.
Yeah.
But yeah, just going through here the chat. Sorry, Shaddock's put up a question here. So gonna put you on the spot here, Jeff. If you could implement any feature into Battlefield, it doesn't matter how much dev time or how ridiculous it is, what would you put into the game? So that's a hell of a question. That's a hell of an open question.
I mean, there's so many.
Cookies.
I've thought about this a lot, as I've played all the Battlefields, and I read a lot of the weird suggestions and the great honest, suggestions from the community. I don't know, man. Like, one thing that I thought about would be, and I do like certain aspects of certain hardcore modes. Like in I used to just play nothing but hardcore. In Bad Company 2 through Battlefield 4, I played nothing but hard, because I was like, man, it should be punishing. It should be hard. And then I started playing more on console, and I was like, okay, I'd rather just have a lot of fun. Because console folks, man, PC gamers, and I'm not trying to piss off any part of the community, but PC gamers, there's some of them that talk a lot of smack about console players, but man, console players, they got the sticks down, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, they do stuff that and PC gamers, they have higher die, better refresh rate,
yeah.
blah 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 blah, all that. There is the difference. But man, playing against some of these PlayStation 3 folks and Battlefield 3, and before we went to PS4, it's just insane. But I'd like to see potentially, and I don't know if this is too far out the realm of what Battlefield makes Battlefield, a spy mechanic. Like,
like a spy role. Like, yeah. Oh, I like it. Okay, go on. Do.
Like, you can literally, and the fun thing is, it'd be like, and I loved Commander. I would love to have Commander.
Oh my God, yes. Sorry, 1,000 times yes.
But to counter Commander mode, you can have spy mode. So let's say each team can have a commander, each team can have a spy. You look like the enemy team. You don't spawn with your teammate because, well, they'll shoot you because you look like the enemy team. They can tell on the mini map that you're a spy, because I've really thought about this, because you'd have like your own like your team is green, the other team's red. You'd be like the blue, and so your commander could be giving orders, and your spy can go in and infiltrate. Now, it couldn't work on every single mode, because a single spy in Conquest, all you're gonna see is the spy stealing tanks from the uncapped. That's all you're gonna see. That's that. But like, certain modes that could cater to this kind of gameplay, I think would be super dope. Like for example, Outpost to me would be a great spot, because you're there, and while you see 8 guys building up the broadcast tower, you're literally laying C4 down. but you look like them. So they're like, oh, it's not gonna bother. And then kaboomski, like and you basically could almost get as many kills with the V1 that you'd get just by laying C4 around a bunch of people building up a radio tower. So, but that is one thing that is like a pipe dream for me. Bringing back Commander mode is a pipe dream for me. I thought, like, I remember one of the last times I played it, my wife and I had gone to Seoul, Korea, and that's where I proposed to her. I proposed to the side of a mountain, overlooking the city. It was super dope. And but we were on the tube, and I had my tablet out, and I helped win 3 matches on the tube, because going from where we were at to, because they have amazing Wi-Fi in Seoul, and so like I'm just like calling in airstrikes, calling in UAVs and stuff, and she looked at me and she's like, "Are you seriously playing Battlefield?" I was like, "Yeah, girl, gotta rank up."
So I mean, just to touch on this, Jeff, because I've always felt like one of the I do think Battlefield has lost a certain element since it decided to drop the commander mode. Now, I believe that currently, as things stand, you've got pretty much 6 squads that will move unilaterally to each other. You know, okay, you can, if a squad leader's proactive, they'll look at how the other squads are spaced on the map, and they'll base their squad movements based off where the other squads are. And you should kind of have this scenario where, a bit like planets, you've got people gravitating around each other but never really coming into direct contact with each other, you know, so that you're getting your spacing on the map. One of the things that I found with commander mode, although like I do think the way it was implemented, it needs to be looked at and really broken down from the ground up, and really looked at to really what is the absolute way that they can maximize the chances of people you know, giving the order, disseminating the order to the squad, and then accepting the order, and then that going back up the, you know, up to the commander, so that everyone's getting the points and everyone's, you know, because one of the things I found with the old commander mode is you'd set the objective and then the objective would disappear, and I think that's what put people off. And between that and it not being very obvious of when you've received a squad order, that made the mode, you know, the whole role kind of underused, when in fact what it actually did was tie in the team's efforts into one cohesive approach. Instead of all these teams going off on their own little sort of missions and excursions, you had that one person who could be the direction, who could be in charge. Do you envisage commander mode ever making it back?
I have no idea. I would love it. I would love it. I have no idea. But I will tell you that a lot of the community has given me feedback. They're like, look, if we're not going to have command, you know, because it's a whole separate team that would have to build a platform to make it work. And then, you know, integration with, you know, all of the APIs and all. It's not just like, or build a UI, and because we know that doesn't always work, right? But some sort of way where squad leaders chat. Because I mean, even that would help, right? Like you have 9 squads on a team because, well, people are silly and lock it one person. So, oh, just go be a pilot. But let's say, you know, having the ability for squad leaders to, because I think that's also part of the problem. You know, it's kind of like you mentioned. Everybody kind of has their own goal or direction they're going to go, and so like, you know, if I'm in Alpha Squad and you're in Bravo Squad and Dum-Dum's in Charlie Squad, I tell my squad to capture A, but we know we're going to need backup because we've got a half track, a Panzer coming at us, and then you and Dum-Dum go to B and C respectively. It's like four people. 2 of us are medics. 1 of us is a recon. Oh, kick him. and then we've got 1 support because nobody thought to bring assault. You know, that's that in that situation, I could be like, and without having to type it in, or even on PC, have just that extra chat.
Yeah,
squad leader chat.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
I need help over at Bravo or Alpha or whatever. I think that would help. But
are you familiar with Squad or Project Reality? And their communication mechanisms. Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, I don't think it would work in every server, and I don't think it's going to work for every Battlefield player. But I think what it's important it does, it gives the tools for those players that do want to go away and take that communication, take that planning, and take the tactics and the strategy to the next level. You know, it's and again, it's something that I think would need to be sort of well thought out, well implemented, and something that would need to be, you know, tested quite thoroughly. But it's definitely, it's like, you know, going back to games like Battlefield 2, when commanders had physical assets that they had to protect and could attack on the map. Now that was again a really interesting dynamic to the sort of the gameplay, and again I think no, I don't think anything. No, but that was something that I was going to go ahead and say I thought commanders had physical forms, as in they had an actual body on Battlefield 2. Maybe they did actually. I'm trying to think whether as commander, I think you could possibly Didn't you spawn in as a physical soldier? And
You did, yeah.
that was it. Yeah, I remember. It's Battlefield 3 that you used to go in, and Battlefield 4 that you used to use the other option for joining. If I'm not mistaken.
Second screen.
Yeah.
And then you could join if you were a commander and you wanted to hit the ground. You could just stop being commander and jump into the match.
That's right. So it was easy enough to get out of it. You know, if you got stuck with a group of squads that weren't sort of the squad leaders weren't disseminating the orders, they weren't about PTFOing, then you know you just got to move on, find yourself a new server, or join that server as a PTFO grunt on boots on the ground. But no, absolutely, Jeffers. I could not agree with you more, my friend. That was an amazing mode. And really added sort of just another layer of depth to the game. Sorry, my cat's meowing at me. Who knows? You know, let's see what the future holds. And one thing that we've definitely seen from EA and DICE is they're very receptive to feedback. And I guess it's just about feeding it back to the right places. And just to sort of tie in there, guys, of course, if you do want your comments to be heard, then the best place you can stop in by is, of course, the Reddit, the forums. You know, there's plenty of options. There's the EA Help, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think what it's called off the top of my head. I can't remember. Jeff, help me out.
Answers HQ.
There we go. Answers HQ. My apologies. Jeff throwing me a lifeline there as I drown in a sea of confusion. Well, guys, I mean, that brings us to 2 hours and 7 minutes of straight straight podcasting, and I appreciate Mr. Jeff is probably in need of more cups of coffee. So, Dum Dum.
I am, believe it or not, I'm still here. I have had some technical difficulties. I do apologize for those. I've heard most of this, and it has been it's been a lovely time, Jeff. I can't thank you enough for showing up. It has been a pleasure chatting with you. It's something I've always wanted to do, kind of like a personal goal kind of thing, I guess. And it's incredible to get to chat with you. Thank you so much for joining us and for all the information that you've shared with the community. You're freaking awesome, man. Pike, it has been a pleasure as always, sir. And everyone joining us in chat, watching on Twitch, checking us out wherever you are. Thank you so much for stopping in and joining us today for this Shots Fired podcast with the one and only Jeff Braddock from EA. Dude is freaking awesome, as you guys just heard. Myself and Pike, we're going to go ahead and shut this puppy down. We want to thank you so much for coming out and checking us out. And as always, we love you guys. We will see you on the battlefield. Thanks for watching Shots Fired podcast, brought to you from the Hardcore League.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out, guys. I'm going to be sending you over to the man, the myth, the legend, the sniper that commits all the war crimes. Don't forget to hit him with a follow if somehow you don't already have this gentleman on your following list. Mr. Dazes. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Peace out. Love you all. Bye.